Hello, sixth grade. This is Miss Wicker making a video for you related to your current content on integers and rational numbers. So whether you're watching this video from home or at school, the goal is to keep you learning on your current content. And this document, what I'm kind of working on, will be available for you in Canvas. It's also in your big textbook at school. So here we go. Let's take a look at these animals first. So first of all, this is related to sea level. So remember, sea level is the 0 in the middle of the number line. So if we take a look at these animals, they're either above sea level, like this griffin's is above sea level, positive 37,000. Or below sea level, like this dolphin, negative 150. So one of the questions that this page asks about is which of these animals can travel at the greatest distance from sea level? So our migrating bird is above, so positive 5,000. And the whale is below sea level, negative 3,000. So take a second, see which one you think is the greatest distance from sea level. Okay, if you are thinking the griffins, then you were correct. It is positive 37,000, which is the highest or farthest distance from 0. All right, one of the other pages in this lesson has a number line. So remember, a number line has that 0 in the middle for you guys and has the positives and negatives. So some students get a little confused on the negatives because it's like a mirror image or going backwards. So the further away we go from 0, further to the left, we're technically getting smaller numbers. So all the way out here. So we encourage you to draw number lines on your paper. You might have a number line to use in the classroom or to look at on the wall, but drawing a number line is going to be really, really helpful. So if you take a look at some of these values, like if we put G on here, okay, negative 10, or L, negative 3, sometimes we're just going to need to place the numbers on the number line. Sometimes they might want you to also write opposites. So remember, opposites of values would be like negative 5 for F, and his opposite would be positive 5. So that would be opposite of F. Okay, that's a little bit about this one. Again, these pages are going to be in your big book, and we're going to ask you to work these out either on your own paper or in your big book, depending on when we're able to use this lesson and module. So I'm going to move forward to the next part, which is word problems. Okay, because this has a couple of key things that we ask you to be able to tackle with keywords. So thermometers and temperatures tend to be something that they ask sixth graders to do a lot. So on this one it says, the display at the right shows daily low temperatures for several consecutive days in a New England city. Write the temperatures in order from least to greatest. On which day was it the coldest? So remember, we talked about that number line on the previous slide. Going further this way into the negatives means we're getting colder. So think about which temperature would be your coldest temperature. You go back to those pictures. So which one are you thinking? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Think for a sec. Okay, if you were thinking Wednesday, you're on the right track. That's the furthest into the negatives. So -7 would be our coldest, and then Tuesday, and then Monday, and then Thursday. Okay, a couple of other keywords in these word problems. A credit, whenever we're talking about money, means a positive value. And a debit, meaning we're spending money or paying for something, is going to be a negative. Okay, so those are key words that might help you on some word problems in this unit. Let's look a little bit further though, because we're not just going to stick with integers. We're also going to need to put some rational numbers like negative fractions and decimals on a number line. So this is where you're going to have to use some more complex skills. So sometimes you might see improper fractions or negative decimals. So your strategies might be to change them into a form where you could compare them. So for example, -5/4 is the same as -1 1/4, or as a decimal, -1.25. Okay, would you know what -1.75 is as a mixed number? Remember that 0.75 is the same as 3/4 or 3/4 out of a dollar. So this is the same as -1 3/4. Okay, so we can break this number line into more detail. We're going to break it into fourths to put these on the number line. So we're going to break our number line into fourths. And we can do the same thing on a number line that goes up and down as well. So this is a vertical number line. This would be a horizontal number line. So horizontal or vertical, you're going to see both. So you've got to be flexible in how the number line is oriented. But either way, take a look at how I've broken the number line into fourths. So this would be -1/4, -2/4, -3/4. Remember, this is the same, right, as -1/2 though, if we simplified. Okay, do you think you might know what this one would be? Okay, if you're thinking -1 1/4, you're correct. -1 2/4, or -1 1/2, and -1 3/4. Okay, so let me change colors here. So -1.25 or -1 1/4 would be right here. And let me use green here. -1 3/4 would be right here. Okay, going to this number line. Again, it's the same number line, just flipped up and down vertical. So blue would be -1 1/4 right here. And green, -1 3/4. Okay, pause the video and take some notes on your notebook paper. And I'm going to do a little bit more on a couple more slides, so be ready for that. Okay, all right, you're going to have a little bit of practice on making your own number lines and putting things onto number lines. But one thing that can be tricky too is down here, ordering numbers from least to greatest. Okay, so they give you a number line to kind of help you out a little bit with that, but let's take a look at number 12. Okay, we've got a improper fraction, negative 3 over 2. Remember, that's the same as negative 1 and 1/2. Okay, and now look at this one. We had that one kind of on the previous slide. Negative 1.25 is the same as negative 1 and 1/4. Okay, so these are going to be easy for you to get mixed up on, so take a look at this number line. Remember, negative 1 and 1/2 would be right here. Remember, that's further into the negatives, whereas negative 1 and 1/4 would be right beside of it, but closer to 0. Remember, the farther you go into the negatives, the smaller the value. So if we're going from least to greatest, our smaller number would be negative 1 and 1/2, then negative 1 and 1/4, or 1.25, and then positive 1.25, or 1 and 1/4, and then 1 and 1/2. Okay, you can also think about this in decimal form, and think about it like money. If I owe you $1.50, I owe you $1.50. If I owe you negative $1.25, that's a little bit better, right? And then 1 and 1/4 means I have $1.25, even better. And then 1 and 1/2 means I have $1.50. So think about going further into the negatives. It means like you're owing more money. So negatives. All right, your final page in this module you're going to see is practice and problem solving, where you will need to put these on number lines and also do least to greatest. So one more clue to help you. Take a look at this number line because it is broken into different pieces. So far we've been broken into fourths, but take a look at this number line. Look at how many hops is in between -5 and -6. A little bit more there. Do you think you might know what each of these are worth? Okay, if you were thinking tenths, you were on the right track. So this one is going to be the same as -5 and 1/10, or as a decimal, -5.1. So if we take a look at, let's put -6.3 on the number line. Let me change colors here. Let's see, we've got -6, -6.1, -6.2, -6.3. So this would be letter B right here. All right, I hope this helps you a little bit with your module and your assignment for today. Reach out to your math teacher if you do need more support as well.